Yeah, so this title is a leadership in a moment of crisis. And this is actually adaptation from the Dr. John Maxwell. Actually, John Maxwell is my personal mentor about leadership for probably, I don't know, 20 years. I never met him before. He never met me before, but I follow his books, the videos and all kind of stuff. And he got incredible resources about this whole leadership components of it. So this 18 minutes talk is essentially I adapted from his some of the things and mixed with my own experience and thoughts to it. So leadership moment of crisis. Actually, this was somewhat a crisis already. I didn't have no internet connection till about 20 minutes ago, and somehow that magically fixed. So I was gonna actually cancel this thing, but now I'm here. So crisis reveals who we really are, what we really made of, you know? I mean, what we go through right now is definitely a crisis, global crisis. Every country, everybody, 7 billion people experiencing crisis. And it really tests us to the maximum level, as you'll go through right now. And crisis demands, because of that, it's everything changing. All the norm is not normal anymore. So it's a changes, the demands of changes and adaptation. Unless we change this demand, obviously we cannot go over the crisis, right? So it's really important to just change. Little thing as like obviously we're forced to be here. Like for example, I'm not obviously traveling at all. I'm here in the kitchen, so everybody probably know my kitchen pretty well by now. But that's changes to be here to kind of work through it. So that kind of things and how to spend the time. The biggest question is when a crisis happens, you cannot prepare a crisis while it's going on. You have to prepare it beforehand. How are we going to actually prepare that? Well, in many cases, we don't know what we prepare it for, but you can prepare it. For example, Miyamoto International Inc., we invested almost $250,000 US last year to put everybody have access to have a remote working environment. And that's actually really helped us. We're doing that to just different reasons, or to have people to have a flexibility to work from home, everyone. But that particular things we're doing it help us tremendously. And we've been working with the India office really closely. They have become part of our Miyamoto International Inc., the production team. And so we are so used to working remotely. So that is something we're preparing something completely different, but it's helping us. Haiti, 2010, that disaster / crisis we went, and we did great. Our team did just fantastic things there. Trained thousands of masons and reconstructed something like 14,000 buildings out there. And we are able to connect with the from a Haitian people to private sector to international agencies to government. We become connectors. Now we were so successful in a particular crisis and disaster because it's not just happened to be that way, because we prepare for that. We prepare for years to get to. We prepare to start understanding how international agency works. We met some key people in DC, maybe 2009, 10-ish. I mean, 2009, 8-ish, just a couple years before. We set the right brand in 2009 about how we go about it. So all the things preparing it. We didn't know the Haitian earthquake would happen, but that's whatever we're doing there, it really helped us be successful. So we need to prepare. So today, we need to prepare something, whatever happened in the future. That's the crisis about. And crisis bring us out from a comfort zone, from everyday, daily things into something much more creative zone, you know? To me, my comfort zone was traveling over places, right? To meeting people, have a dinner with everyone, you know, every day. Different country every other week. That was my essentially, believe it or not, was my comfort zone. Today, obviously, I'm not doing that. You know, I mean, last week or so here in David's house, just myself, and it's very interesting because I never been like alone, you know, and alone is it makes me really creative, make me think. It's definitely not in my comfortable zone, but it's making me think and I think it's really, really great, you know? Let's talk about, a little bit about life. You know, there's a notion out there, life should be happy, or people something in life is always bad. It's not like that. It's about half-half. You know, if you look ourselves, if you look ourselves the last 10 years, and really objectively, right? Half of things happen to us, to you, to me, was pretty good, you know? Half of things happen was not so good at all, right? It's kind of like the kind of mixture of it. So the question is how we can make it good, better, make it bad, not make them too bad. How to do that? We have to have a positive life stance, positiveness about it, whatever is going on. There was a big study, research done about 10, 15 years ago, looked at all those companies many companies, about 100 of them in the US, successful companies and unsuccessful companies based on how the stock validated, how it's grow the value. Looking at is that luck or bad luck affect the performance? And researchers go deep into the history of a company for 10, 20 years, looking at the trend of a bad luck and a good luck in the companies, right? It's very interesting. Almost all the companies, about same amount of luck, same amount of bad luck was going on. So being a successful company is nothing to do with how much luck they got or not got it. It's just based on when the bad luck happens, bad things happen, how to make a best out of it. That's how those companies did. That's how individual can do. That's actually very interesting, you know? Bad things happen all the time. Even today, there's bad things happen. This morning, I was riding a couple of days ago, I was riding a bicycle really fast with my son. You know, he's like 15, you know, he's pretty good athlete. So I'm trying to race, going really fast. And I tried to make a shortcut and try to cut off this little park. And it's a little down there. And I thought there's a little slope to come down. But it's actually, there's steps. So I was on a road bike and it's not like a mountain bike. So I just chopped up and come up and I said, holy crap, I'm going down. I'm gonna do it. And I'm just bouncing around the whole steps. And I landed beautifully, you know? So it was bad, but people in the park, they're watching me. They thought I was some sort of a extreme nutcase, you know, obviously it was an accident, but I don't think they knew that. But anyway, they thought I was some sort of a, you know, hero, you know, figure or something, you know? So it was almost near-death experience that made it something best out of it, essentially. Well, I don't think you don't repeat that thing like that. John Maxwell said, very few people make bad things positive. That's what he says. I don't know. I quite agree with that, though. I think I think most of us try, if the bad things happens, and try to make it positive as much as possible. You know, I think that's definitely it's a kind of mental stance. If you think the whole world is ending, this whole thing is changing, then probably bad things will become worse. You know, I think it's kind of like that. Success, John says, success in life comes from playing bad hands well. And I said, give me a lime, I'll make margarita. You know, it's kind of like that, right? Give me a lemon, I make a lemonade, right? I make a margarita. So it's the something bad, things going on, how to make it good. That's the whole thing's about. Maybe some of you guys know, I was my first marriage, of which I don't know. I was married for about 25 years and I divorced about 7 years ago. It was a completely drastic event, obviously, right? You know, get small kids and all that at the time, and it was it was a crisis. It's a disastrous in that can be for our kids, for me, you know, for my ex-wife, you know. But I think I feel like we made the best out of it. I really do. You know, I really learned a lot from the experience, and I do feel today. I don't know my wife agree with me, but I do think I am probably 100 times better husband than ever before. I really do because I learned so much from it, and I learned to really focus on the kids and how they're good and stuff like that. So that it was completely aligned. But I do believe that we made a family, right? Made it the best out of the conditions. You know, but it's a mental stance about commitment. Same time, adversity brings advantage. Einstein said, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity, opportunity for new ideas, new findings, getting better. Crisis also increase focus on what is essential. You know, what is it really important for us, right? Like, for example, I probably talked to so many friends I never even talked to before like that until this day. That is so important. I know many of you guys probably do the same. You have time now, we have time to reach out to families who haven't talked to for a while, friends who haven't talked to a while. Those are such an essential thing, so important, right? And we may have taken for granted till this kind of crisis happen. Now we're all doing that. I think that is so critical. Those are essential, so important to our lives. Adversity, failures makes us better. John Maxwell has a book called Failing Forward. Essentially, the whole concept is we need to cherish failures. We should have failures. There's no failures, there's no advancement, there's no discoveries, there's no make it better or stronger. Failures is so critical. As long as we don't die, that's important though. If you're dead, then it doesn't quite work. Just like my little bike accident. But as long as we're alive till the end of the day, we should fail, we should fail, we should fail, we should make it better. We should really take advantage of that. We got to keep the perspective right. Everything worthwhile is uphill. Everything uphill. And actually crisis makes it even steeper to get to. And happiness is hard to get. To enjoy the life, you have to try hard. I do. I mean, there are a lot of bad things happen to anyone, right? You know, could be families, could be friends, something happens all the time. Something's not quite going right. You know, it can be business, can be anything. I try to make the best out of it, you know, how to make it happy, even if the bad things going on, how to make it happy, you know. My case, I might just look just maybe go for a walk and just enjoy the weather or flowers or stars, moons, you know, little things like that, little tiny things, you know, makes better. And also one of the bad things things that are going on right now, there's always little good things that come with it, right? For example, maybe after this whole thing's done, maybe more people are decide to work from home or do things rather than just ride 2 hours to the office, all that things. Maybe less people doing it, maybe less traffic on the freeways, maybe less pollution out there because of it, you know? Maybe we discovered how to connect in virtually much more efficient. Maybe we're gonna spend more time, maybe virtually too though, but to our friends, maybe more. So there's some little good things come along, you know, little good things. I mean, personally, I got to know my wife much more. I really do. I spend so much more time with my kids. I go bike ride for 2 hours every day with my 15-year-old son. I'm in super shape now, by the way. and it just, you know, I got to know my old friends, you know, stuff like that, right? So little good things come along, bad things happens. Just, it's always the case. There's always an answer though. There's always a way out. I know sometimes, you know, things like it just never ends and dark things going on. But there's always there's an answer. There's always a way out. You know, I mean, remember when we started business some years ago, at the one point, I was pretty darn close to like kind of bankruptcy. I know our line of credit went up to limit, and I'm on a collection. We're a small company, band, maybe 10, 20 people. And I'm calling the clients to collect the money before the paycheck come out next day. There's no way we can miss that one. It was dark days. It was hard, But I knew there's always the way out. There's always light after this tunnel. Motion influence emotion. 90% of our emotions are determined by how I talk to myself, how I say to myself, how to say your kids, to your spouses. It'll change that. Well, like for example, when I was young engineer 30 years ago, my first project, one of my first projects, this is my senior engineer sent to me this parking structure projects. It's a huge, it's like 10-story concrete structure, post-tensioning, highly technical stuff in Sacramento downtown. I was so scared because I never been a construction site, first of all. Second of all, I'm the only guy going there, the engineering training, right? But my senior engineers, they're so busy, I had to go by myself, this project meeting. And I know I'm meeting the chief architect and contractor, superintendents and all that. And I just sit in my car and I told myself about 100 times, I'm the best engineer in the whole world. I'm the best engineer in the whole world. It's just like, just mentally, I feel like I'm the best engineer. And when I said it 100 times, I feel like I'm the best engineer in the whole world. And I went right into the meeting, I kicked butt, It's kind of like that. It's the how you say it to yourself, it really determines how you actually feel. So that's really important, how to say it to yourself. Today matters. Today is it. It's not about tomorrow. It's not about a year from now better. I think what most people really do feel that put too much value in the past, which no way we can change it, right? And too much value in the future, which we have not so much control over at all. It's haven't started yet. But today, we have a full control. I have a control about today. I have a control about how to feel myself. I have a control about being go work out, or I have a control about how I interact with my family, my spouse, or friends. Today we have a full control about what we do. I think that's the really important one. Today matters. We're gonna make it. Today is the masterpiece. Today is we're gonna create this. It's gonna be a movie today. This is gonna be, each of you have this movie of today, and that's gonna be, could be romance, it could be adventure, it could be something, but it's a masterpiece. I think that's what we're gonna make a masterpiece every day. If you do this every day, accumulation of this, after 1 year, after 2 years, after 5 years, it's just incredible, right? That's the whole thing about today matters. Okay, so let's talk about, as a leader, how to make the margarita out of lime. I'm sure friends from Mexico love this kind of statement, especially Victoria. I think it's important to put people first. That's it. I mean, you got to put people first. So obviously our case, okay, how we can protect our people's job, right? That's the first thing. I think that's most important. Otherwise, it doesn't quite work at all, because we need the team of people to overcome this current challenge going on. Right perspective, we talked about it. Nothing easy. Happiness is not easy. Happiness is hard to get. We got to try it. We got to make that today is a masterpiece to become happy, And we need to be communicated with a clarity and hope, not just that blind optimism, hope with the plans and strategies. And it's okay we don't know about what's going to happen, because uncertainty in a crisis are just part of it. We just need to be authentic. We can just say, I know everything. I know what's going to happen, 1, 2, 3, and what's going to happen now, because that's not true. No one knows that. No one knows in this world right now. No one knows what's going to happen 2 weeks from now, month from now. It's very cloudy out there, but we can guess something based on the available data today. That's what we do, right? For financial statements, we do that. We based on database. We analyze the data, past and the current, and what's going to happen in the future. That's how we forecast them. But there's definitely uncertainty, everything about it. We got to control yourself, man. We need to control it. You don't want to be caught up in emotion in the crisis. I think it's very important as a leader. Crisis is a turning point. It will change us completely. It's a decision-making point to make something better and different to survive through these things, right? It's a truly a turning point. I think going through this crisis as a company, though, I think we're doing the right things right now to do things. We try to be efficient as much as possible. We try to put the schedule in the cloud base so everyone can see it in the whole company in Miyamoto International Inc. And also the CRM system in Vision. Again, this for Inc. Our company here. And also what is this? Oh yeah, the whole budgeting system, real-time budgeting. That's what we're doing right now. So which you're going to see that in a month or so. We try to put everything more efficient while it's going on, and also we're going to come out stronger, I do think. We met the Dan Campbell from through the Zoom meeting a month ago, and we have a Vegas office now. And about a week from now, we're going to announce the office in Central Asia, Uzbekistan. I think that's a pronunciation. And it's I've never been there, obviously, but Shakza, Dr. Shakza, we've been working with him for probably 10, 15 years now. And he's gonna, he accompanies there, so that company become Miyamoto International. So things like that, we're making changes right now, we're growing it, We just try to capture that whatever happened month from now, that's what we basically plan in it. From efficiencies to actually bringing a whole India operations to part of a scheduling of the whole Miyamoto International Inc. components, to client resource management system, to this 2 new offices. We're preparing for something that's going to happen 2 months from now. That's basically what we're doing. So crisis never leave us the same. March 15th is a long time ago now. It's a completely different history then, Many, I think, states in the U.S. started open up in probably mid-May to end of May, and most probably open by the June then. When we come out on June 1st, we're completely different. We're completely different from what we were on March as a company for sure, and then each of us will be completely different. I'm completely different. I can tell you, completely different. I can ride my bike much faster, that's for sure, And I connect with my family. I got to know my wife more, deeper, And I care about little things. I reach to my friends. Completely different person. Normal is never. It's changed forever. It's really important. It's not about survival, but thrive. It's time to evolve. And I think we can do all those things if we focus on today, make today's a masterpiece, make the bad things somehow take advantage and make it better, see the opportunities in the bad things and enjoy the failures, because the failures will give us the wisdom. Failures will give us the opportunity to grow, change, evolve. So I'm really, interested about this whole crisis going on. It's many sad things going on, but at the same time, there's a whole bunch of little good things coming with it. And because of this, I think when it come out, I think I'm a better person. And I think we're going to be a better company. That's what we're going to be. I really do feel that way, So that's it. Thank you so much. And see this picture, huh? This is the camp in Puerto Rico. There's a family, and they lost the whole home, and it's a horrible condition. This took this picture in March. They have no homes, baby, and family, and still there. Try to enjoy as much as possible. That's a picture of what failures look like.
Where is that kid?
Yeah.
Is that taken?
Where?
Yeah.
It's Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I will have the Jeff, Mr. Jeff Crozier.
Hello, Dr. Miyamoto. Yeah, fun talk. So we're going to have, probably a 20-minute panel discussion, as Kit kind of alluded to. So it'll be, myself or anybody who doesn't know me. I'm Jeff Crozier. I mostly sit in the Orange County office, but my responsibilities are really support of all the operations of all the domestic offices. And I've got to know most everyone reasonably well, and I enjoy that a lot. We're also going to have Sabine Cass, leader of International Development Group, Tim Tsukamoto, one of the associate principals in Sacramento, who kind of runs a lot of their operations as well, and then Tracy Wong, who is relatively new to Orange County, but she's kind of taken over most all of the operational responsibilities in Orange County. Has become a great leader here in the last 6 months. So, Kit asked me to maybe talk a little bit about golf, but if you know me, I play a pretty fair. I play a pretty fair amount of golf, or as much as I can. I've played my whole life, and I'm reasonably good at it. But I enjoy it. But there's a lot of life lessons in golf, and as Kit mentioned, there's certainly a lot of crises in golf, and they happen every 20 minutes. And it's really how you perceive. Long ago, I kind of learned. I have one basic rule in life, and it applies to everything. And Kit, this would have been good for you on your little bike incident, and you probably already figured it out. But I used to mountain bike a lot too, and I kind of learned that the mountain bike will roll over everything if you let it. Pretty much everything that's in your way. If you get in the way, well, you're probably gonna have an issue. But my number one rule of life is don't panic. And if you think about it, it really works for every case. If you panic, do you ever have a good outcome? Generally not.
I agree. When I got into those steps on the bikes,
yeah.
I'm going to do it.
I guarantee your bike will roll down all of those steps, unimpeded if you just let it, and if you don't panic. And this whole situation is some of that as well. I think we've certainly had some challenges. I think we're much more ready and prepared for this than we ever were for like our first big incident as a company, which was Haiti back in 2010 that Kit talked about. I think Haiti really changed us as a company, and I think this will too, and both in positive ways. One, that we're prepared for this. Two, now we've interacted a lot more from office to office and relied on each other, and integrated the company a lot faster than we have been able to in the past. Not only all our domestic operations, but we've been on Zoom calls with the India team, and we got another one coming up with Nepal, and we're sharing work, and we're developing the personal relationships around the globe that are key to making all this stuff go. So, I'm pretty excited about where we're going, and I know this company adapts better than any I've ever seen. So I'm really encouraged about the future. So with that, why don't I turn it over to Sabine first for your thoughts, Sabine?
Sure. Well, I really enjoyed. Yeah, thank you. I do feel that there's, even in non-crisis situations, there is just incredible amount of, pressure. We have, of course, we need to sort of develop in our trade, in our sort of capabilities, engineering capabilities, or, in our subject matter. There's so much to learn. And then there's, always a lack or little time for sort of personal development or development and leadership, people management skills, or knowing how to, have all those toolkits and know how to go about it. So I feel that, these kinds of conversations today are really helpful. And the message was also quite simple, in that, it does come down at the end, to perspective. And the first step of approaching something is through sort of a positive, kind of trying to correct one's sort of mindset, and sort of look at, to a point where you can sort of draw out the positives of a situation. And so, very clear message. Thank you for also asking me to speak. I'm really quite excited. I'd love to have more of these conversations and sort of learn more of the tools and ways of approaching difficult situations.
Great. Thanks, Sabine.
Sabine, you're a student of disaster recovery part of it. How, like, all those countries go through that disasters, you observe about the whatever trend, how actually countries set up, sometimes make that recovery faster or even better than it was before, but some doesn't. It's essentially crisis theory per se we're talking about. It's country level, it seems. What do you think?
Yes, so the thinking in the disaster management world is that, a disaster is an important opportunity to address pre-existing problems, societal problems, and they talk about build back better, and that's sort of, the curve of when you recover that you sort of exceed or you're better than, you end up being transformed and more resilient, so having greater capacity to absorb shocks. And so that's seen as effective recovery. And the thinking really is that you can't really, disasters expedite, sort of the literature shows that pre-existing trends in disasters are often are sort of facilitated. And so if you have a population decline, oftentimes in disasters, you will see, you see sort of like the trend really hitting the trend. And so, these are the sort of things that one needs to look at. I think in this disaster, there's many trends, but sort of the retail business, something that, would affect us, is sort of the retail business has been declining. It has now been pushed forward. And therefore we also see a lot of architectural firms that have been very retail focused now sort of also shifting resources and towards that. And so that's the disaster management. So I guess in terms of how it ties into your presentation, it is really identifying those trends and then finding the opportunities, sort of not sort of stubbornly sticking to the way we've done something, but saying, look, this is the trend. Retail there will be, it's pretty clear that we will likely see less retail, but we have been hearing a lot about a big push in the affordable housing, that there's going to be quite a lot of investment potentially in, affordable housing or healthcare. And so, so that's sort of the current thinking there as well. Really understanding what were the issues, from a company point of view as well, that we could maybe potentially draw out a few things that were difficult before and how we could tackle those so that we can be sort of more resilient and transform, be better, build back better.
Great, thanks, Sabine. Tim, you wanna share some of your thoughts?
Tim Tsukamoto.
Hey, Jeff, thanks. Yeah, thanks for inviting me to speak a little bit. I think from my perspective and from what we've been going through, one, like this situation is a very large crisis, but I think we experience these things basically on a daily basis and maybe even more frequently on a smaller scale. So as individuals move through it, it's about kind of learning how to identify what's happening and then react. And if you practice that on the smallest scale, you'll be able to more readily adapt when there's a large crisis. And then if there's a large crisis like we're in now, it's more about breaking it up into manageable tasks and getting those things individually identified so that we can recover and learn and grow faster. And I agree 100% with this is a great opportunity for us to learn and grow. Part of a lot of what I would focus on in my day-to-day, this has been an accelerant, like gas on the fire. So that's sort of where I'm approaching it.
So Tim, Tim is expert in a lean process, the Kaizen, continue to get better system. That's the whole terminology industry. So you're basically saying that lean process can really applicable for this manage the disaster per se. You make it better in a way, used for the lean process.
Yeah, I mean, I think that lean is it's sort of a buzz term, in concept, but the principles behind it very much apply in all situations, and in this one on a very large scale. One of the keys is continuous improvement. Is introducing something like the Deming cycle, where you plan something, you practice it, you adjust it, and move on and sort of iterate very quickly. And that's why I mentioned breaking things down into very small, manageable tasks or items that, failure is welcome. That's how we learn. And if we can break them down into small pieces that the failure is not going to cause us to lose too much at any one given time, that's where we're going to do the most learning. And as we improve on it, and that becomes sort of daily practice, the improvements will come faster and in bigger chunks.
Well said.
Great. And last but certainly not least, Tracy, you wanna add a few thoughts? Tracy, you're muted.
There you go.
There I am. Hello, everyone. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. I wanted to kind of go off of something Kit said earlier, which is that crisis usually involves some sort of change and adaptation. So I think our company has done an excellent job. I think our leadership has done an excellent job as preparing us and supporting us through this. I couldn't ask for anything better. One thing I'm extremely grateful for is having a full-time job right now. So I'm going to kind of take
You don't have to worry about that.
Well, I'm going to take a tangent and kind of take this change and adaptation to a personal level on just how I've been adapting and changing. And I found that I was missing something as I was doing that. So I'm sure, like all the other structural engineers here, we've been busy for quite a while. My husband is in structural engineering and we have a child. So our daily conversations were usually who gets to work late, who's making dinner, who's picking up from activities. And those were always a struggle. I always felt like we were running somewhat of a marathon, just trying to get to the next place. So once this happened, COVID-19, and we became on house arrest, everything changed. We now added homeschooling to our daily task. And for a couple of weeks, we were doing okay, and we were looking around going, yeah, this is different. We definitely changed and we're doing it. So we're adapting, but we were still finding that we were not very happy with the situation. So as I started going out, even though it was very strange, going to Trader Joe's, I'm sure some of you have experienced this, you have to stand in a line outside the store, with masks on, 6 feet apart. It takes like 2 hours to do grocery shopping. And what I was observing, looking at, my fellow humans that were out, is that not only were we taking a pause, we were all patient and we were present. And then I noticed the little things that people would do that I thought was the key in all of us making it through this. And that is adding a positive. And, seeing the little things that people would start to do for each other. I decided to take that home with me, and personally, that is what I try to do every day. And I look at this now as somewhat of a gift. I didn't have that opportunity before to pause and be as present as I should be. But that's something that we're doing as a family, and we're finding that we're growing. Now we have these goals. In order to add a present, it could be a present or a positive. It could be something good that we do for each other. Maybe it's that book or movie I've always wanted to share with my son. Or maybe it's, I have a new goal. I'm not a runner, but I started running, and now I'm planning on making it up the hill without stopping. These are all little personal milestones that I think I'm making. And I'm also trying to bring that to work too. So I have a little more extra time trying to add a positive. And I think that that'll really, you know, give us some momentum to really make the big changes and adaptations that we need to grow. So anyways, a little philosophical on my end, but I just wanted to share that because I noticed it right about the 3-week mark. It was getting a little depressing, but you know, it was the addition of that really helped.
Very good.
Story, yeah. Story.
Yeah. So now we have about 10 minutes. So let's open up to anyone to question to the panelists or comments or specific golf question to Jeff. Well, it's all free. So just speak up whenever you. Wait,
I can speak up quite a
yes,
little bit here. I haven't been part of the Miyamoto family for that long, but in this short period of time, I can tell you that for the company leadership is, you know, excellent. The communication within the company is so open and so good, and the company is so agile. I mean, that's one of the things that shocked me the most, and I think Jeff or Kit said it. I mean, when companies start to grow, it's important not to lose that ability, because that is really hurtful. It's only everything becomes paralyzed. And I'm really grateful and very happy to be part of the company. And just a quick note on my personal self. When I was a young engineer, I was a part of a very good company doing amazing work. And at the time, I didn't realize it. It was just work, and day by day go by. Now I look back and saw what a great opportunity it was. And I said to myself that I'm never gonna let that happen again. And I exhort everybody here that acknowledge how good of a group Kit and the staffing put effort to put together. And it's great honor to be part of such a great team of people working together. Thank you.
Very nice, Simon. Very nice.
Yeah, this is Olivia. I also just joined the company about a month ago. Actually, the day I joined was I think March 15th or around then, and it was the day that my daycare decided to close. And I thought, oh my God, you know, I have to delay my start date. I can't responsibly, you know, start a new job and be a mom. But the leadership has just been so incredible and I don't know, so flexible that it's been a pretty easy transition. And I'd also like to kind of stress upon what Tracy said about living in the moment. You know, when my baby naps, I work so efficiently and so hard. I know I have an hour and a half and I just, you know, open that laptop and I am, you know, full on working. But then when my baby is awake, I try to spend quality time with my baby and so forth and so on. And so it's really helped me understand, well, first of all, how to work more efficiently, but also how to enjoy this time too, because, you know, there might not be other, well, hopefully, well, we'll see. But no one knows what the future holds, but I get to see my baby grow up. So I feel like it might be win-win for me.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, Olivia, for sure. You know, I mean, this is actually a really profound moment. You know, a billion people in the same condition. You know, everything kind of stopped, right? You know, I think war stopped almost. It is actually. It's like a first time in humanity have this kind of connected by this disease. All of us experiencing the same thing. Pretty profound moment, I think we're in. I think something really good come from it. I really do. To the humanity, actually. Anyone else have any comments or questions?
Kit, this is Ed.
Yes, sir.
You've got a couple of interesting opportunities here in Reno right now. One certainly is with the city of Reno. You're strengthening the city hall,
Yeah.
which Kit described as a soft story building, which means that down in the council chambers, that building could collapse and kill everybody in there. But it's an important time to get to know the folks within the city staff and really impress them with your knowledge and your abilities to strengthen that building. And they'll give you recommendations to other clients. The second area is I just noticed in the local business paper that you're the structural engineers with Gensler on a pretty good sized project here.
Yeah.
And so congratulations on that.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful opportunity to take Gensler and really to show them how well you work.
It is, he's one of our board of directors, and he actually opened the doors for those projects that he's talking about. And the Reno project is very interesting. It's a steel building, a really old one.
Yeah.
And it's actually swings by even a windstorm, and it's seismically extremely dangerous. So we are putting viscous dampers in the building to basically absorb the energy. That's what we're doing right now. So Ed, yes, we're going to set up some kind of a Zoom meeting with the staff in Reno. Maybe talk about the project a little bit more. We can.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah,
That would be a great idea.
Yeah, thanks for the advice, Ed.
Sure.
Ed, this is Dan Campbell from Las Vegas. It's so interesting that you mentioned that relationship with Gensler in Reno, because we just talked with a couple of people in the Las Vegas office of Gensler, and they expressed extreme pleasure with the relationship and the ongoing work on that particular project.
Good.
And so they were very positive about that. So
Excellent.
interesting that you mentioned that.
By the way, Dan Campbell is in Vegas, and so he has an office in the 51st level of Vegas downtown, as you can see. Very fancy.
Welcome aboard, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you.
You look like you.
I wanted to say, you know, in the last several weeks, it's been delightful to be part of a team that is so willing to back you up in many ways. I'm thinking particularly about Deepanesh, who completely unselfishly has introduced me to a number of people that he's already acquainted with in Las Vegas. And I think the relationship will just deepen, including Deepanesh and myself and the local folks in, you know, in Las Vegas. So it's such a pleasure to have this team behind you. You know, I'm not playing singles tennis anymore. I'm part of a whole baseball organization where people play their positions and they know their positions. And, you know, you got that kind of backup. It's like playing for the Yankees, you know?
Yeah, go Yankees, Dan.
All right. I think we got the 2 more minutes, so maybe like one other comment or question if someone has that.
All right, I have one comment. This is Alex. I was just listening to Dan, and I want to follow up to his comment. It's like a baseball team. So what I've noticed being here for a couple of months is that, and then we were talking about some other industry-wide trends about being, you know, facing a risk these days. But I think the extremely successful business model that Miyamoto adopted is that every team, every player in this baseball teams, the way you play makes a big difference. You know, it's not like you're not a decision maker. It almost feels like you're running this business. Each of us are running this business, and every our decision is so critical because we don't have that bureaucracy between us that, you know, I don't really care because somebody else will do it, because by the time my voice will be heard, there will be a million other people has to go through. And since we don't have that, I think that what makes it even more extreme and exciting. You know, we don't have this bureaucracy within the team. We don't have extra things that we need to worry about. So everyone plays the best, you know, he or she can, so we can get the better numbers on the scores. So that's one thing that I wanted to highlight.
Sounds good, man, Alex. Sounds like a lot of outspoken people joined our company in the last couple of months. Just kidding. Is there any word from or comments or questions from like older people being here for a while? Yes. Well.
I got to go to another call, Kit.
All right, I think that did it. He's the old guy spoke, so that was good. All right, guys. All right, Jeff.
Thanks, everybody. Great call.
Thanks so much. That's great.
Thank you, everyone.
Email me. Just go call me. All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Adiós, amigo.
Adios. Adios, amigo.
Adiós, adiós.
Adios.
Have a nice day, Kit.
Hey, Joseph.
Yeah. Have a nice day, all guys.
Yeah, I will. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
I'll call you late tomorrow.
Bye-bye.